company, plenty of news kicking around. What about the Hawks? They're flying on top of the AFL ladder, lost just one game. Buddy Franklin in the news. Who better to talk to than the coach, Alistair Clarkson, who joins us live.
Oh, yes. Speaking of superstars, the best athlete on the planet from this country plays for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA. He is here tonight. Andrew Bogut's on the Footy Show.
Whoa, yeah. Looking forward to Big Bogey. Collingwood play Melbourne this weekend. The Demons in the news. Of course, Chris Dawes played very nice footy last week. He's going to join us to talk about the Demons.
Hey, speaking of news, we've also got Damien Barrett, of course. He'll give you the full feel of exactly what's going on, including a club in Melbourne who have put a massive offer to a big star from the Bombers. Damien will be out to tell you who it is and how much a little later on.
Speaking of the Bombers, a very fascinating story about their captain, Joe Watson, as well. We'll give you that one. And Street Talk tonight from Dandenong, if you don't mind. All that and more. Let's get started.
Company on the Footy Show, the Docklands Precinct here in Melbourne, and this is a beautiful panel. Let's get started with a man, three-time premiership player for the Brisbane Lions, the big power forward, the skipper, who's handed the reins over now so that he can just do what he does best. John O'Brien is here. Put your hands together for him, please. Speaking of superstars from the Western Bulldogs, and they are flying. Two in a row. Put your hands together for Daniel G and Syracuse. And from the Cats, speaking of flying, the mayor of that great town, Bill Brownless. Hello, Bill.
Brown dog.
Very, very nice panel. Lots to talk about with these guys. Lots to talk about with this next man, of course. When there's footy news around, Damien Barrett's all over it. Yes. But our man, the Foss, is also all over it. Please welcome the 300-game superstar from Geelong, John Sammy Newman. Oh.
Look at this.
Sorry, Gary.
Who are you?
Who are you? Who am I?
Yeah.
I nearly didn't come on tonight because that buffoon, Sam Newman, said the last time, a couple of weeks ago, that I was the most naive football person in Australia. I've got the...
Don King.
got the membership kit from Melbourne. Pipe is included. I haven't never smoked before, but I'm going to have to start. I think he's in the early stages of syphilis, that boy. Yeah, I do think Newman is. He's a fool.
What are you doing?
The only thing he hasn't had injected is his brain.
What are you doing?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm back. I'm going to take the club over, Gary.
Who?
We're Melbourne.
You are.
We're bottom feeders. We're as low as shark shit. You know how low that is?
Yes.
We're in. And I'm going to start a campaign. I've got to be discreet, but I'm headhunting a couple of people for the board when I take over.
Are you now?
How's the accent going? Yeah, we're going for zig and zag.
Yes.
Maybe...
Look at him.
Are you serious? Are you serious about this?
Of course I'm serious.
Oh, no.
Warwick Kappa and Mandrake the Magician. Now, Gary, we're going to rebadge the club. We're not going to call it the Demons. We're calling it the Seamans. We're going to refertilise the snowfields. And to that end, I've co-opted Barclay the Donkey Nettlefold, the ex-swimming coach of Australia. And the donkey is going to roam over the snowfields, gathering people that he can inject.
All right.
Sit down.
No, I haven't finished. No, I haven't finished.
Who is he?
Finished. Headquarters could be near Gallipoli, just to keep an eye on the Greater West Sydney side. Apparently a bit of chat about that. Flick and I have picked out a nice rustic villa over at Ankara, which is the capital of Turkey, and make some day trips over to the Black Sea. Now, finally, Gary, finally. You listen up. And you better get ready, Jim, to swap seats, because we're appointing you as coach.
Hey.
You're going to be the first years of a 30-year plan, Gary, to try and get the Demons into the finals. Immediately, we'll appoint as the progress manager Steve Dank, and his assistant will be that master illusionist David Copperfield. Now, Gary.
Yes.
Any good campaign needs a slogan. Now, listen to this, and this is my slogan. One of three. Failure, losses, over for good, or flog. Come on, co-opt Kennett, or cock. Yes. Or, wait for this, fed up, call Kennett.
Oh.
You work that out. Anyhow,
sit down, Jeffrey. Lovely to have you on board.
Look at Jeff.
Flick and I are excited.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, Gareth.
Yes.
If we can just be serious for a second with our man here.
Yeah, really?
What did you think when you woke up today to the offer, the gracious offer from Jeff Kennett to take over your club?
I didn't know what to think, to be honest, Jim. That was an unusual thing to hear from Jeffrey. Been at odds with the footy club, Melbourne, over the journey. This is the man who said they should merge last year with your club.
He did say that.
You did say that.
Well, don't be attention
And the year before that, you said they should go to the Gold Coast.
Oh, well, why attention to detail? Don't worry about it.
So I'm sure he's got... I'd actually need to hear more from Jeffrey, but I think he's got enough on his plate. But it was unusual. Let's introduce the panel here, who... It's a panel that is one's in very good form, one's having a little rest at the moment. Let's start with the one in very good form, Daniel G and Syracuse from the Western Bulldogs. Welcome, Gian.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me.
Perfect time to come on, mate. The Dogs doing it tough early, but you've got together two very, very good wins. It's
Yeah, a couple of wins. We're flying and we've got the weekend off. So looking forward to training tomorrow and then a break over the weekend.
Should footy be played in Darwin, Gia? Are the conditions conducive to AFL football?
Don't know what I should say here because we go all right up there, but it's a horrendous place to play footy. It's very hard and
Horrendous.
you have one effort and then it takes you 4 minutes to go again. So it's very tough to play footy in, but we win and we'll take the 4 points away, Sam, and move on.
But the other mob have got to play under the same conditions,
yeah,
don't they?
do.
Yeah.
But they're feeling just as bad as us.
Be an even playing field in that case, wouldn't it?
It could be, but we go up there more, so maybe it's not.
Take your time. Don't rush into the game to start with. It's a game finish is the idea, not to rush in, not the old bull and the young bull.
Started as a sub on the weekend, G. You came on there 21 possessions and turned the game on its head.
There you are.
Is that what the future holds for you, and is it going to extend beyond this year? Because your form's been good.
Yeah, I've been the sub the last couple of weeks and enjoying that role, and I think you'll see me in the green vest in the second half of the year as well. So, as I said, enjoying the role that I'm playing, helping out the young guys, and looking forward to a few more wins for the Dogs in the remaining part of the season.
Still a good-looking bloke. You are one of the
Bill.
best-looking blokes going
mate.
around. But you always have been. Have a look at your hair. This is the Men for All Seasons calendar. There. Look at that. Magnificent, Gia. That is beautiful, my friend. I love that.
Has to be said, though, Bill, the time stops for no man. There's a few greys sneaking
I just
in there.
noticed that. There's a couple of greys there, but at least you've got...
What would you rather?
This will be
Grey
good.
or...
No hair. Right.
Well, what happens, G, though, as you get a little older,
Yes.
you attract a different sort of demographic.
You
and,
do.
Back in those photographic days, it was the young 18, 19-year-old girls, but you got the grey now, and we noticed this. On the weekend, just have a look at this lady here checking you out. Oh, yeah, she's out. What a piece of old Gia, she reckons.
Wait for it. Wait. Look at her.
Hey.
Still got it.
Still got it, mate.
Boss?
Yeah, no, you bent over and gave her a bit of a brown eye, I noticed there too.
Shot the next door neighbour's dog.
Opportune time to do up the shoelaces, Gia. Hey, John O'Brown's also here, everyone, and of course, on the footy show. I think the whole footy world was amazed when you challenged and didn't succeed. I must admit, when I looked at it, I know that you as a club thought it to be downgraded to reckless, which I think everyone agreed with. So when it was handed down that you had 2 weeks off, Brownie, how did you cope with that?
Well, if everyone agreed with it, why'd the tribunal disagree? There are only 3 blokes in Australia, I think, but...
Let's have a look at it, Brownie. Talk us through it.
Well...
What happened?
I got graded with intentional, but with low contact, so...
Right. Well, what was the
in
intention?
other words, I was trying to king hit the bloke, but do it gently. And so it was... I wouldn't have sneezed if I got hit by that, fair dinkum, but so I wasn't real keen on the reaction. But anyway, look, intentional was a pretty serious grade, and we thought we'd get down to reckless, and our guys were very confident. And I was quite surprised when it all happened, and we know what happened and what Paul Gallen did last night in the State of Origin, but he only gets a week for what he did, and I get 2 for that. It's just bordering on a bit soft, I think. So I was pretty disappointed.
Different codes, but I mean, what it does.
Different codes, but we're men, mate.
Yeah, well,
we're men and we play a contact sport.
So Brownie, you're not happy with Jamo, or?
Oh no! I just thought we might have been able to. If I was getting whacked like that, I reckon I might have stood up a bit quicker.
I think
not happy with Jamo.
I think we hear you, Brownie. He gave you a chance to get in the coach's box though, and you fancied yourself in there. I mean, it wasn't a great night, let's be honest. But Vossi said, "I'm off. I'm going down to the boundary to sort this out," and you just said, "All right, let me have a bit of a piece of this."
Let me get in
You
here.
felt really comfortable in there, Brown Dog.
That's right,
And
mate.
I need a drink. What happened here, Brownie? You need a drink. Look at this. Have you ever seen a bloke try and get the lid off a bloody cup? It's easy. They just...
No, that is hard. I bite my fingernail, so I haven't got much fingernails to climb up. But Powerade are one of our major sponsors, so I'm trying to get them airtime, Billy. And I actually was looking like I was in pain a little bit later on. The boys got stuck into me about that, and I said, "Well, boys, it's painful watching you at the moment." So, but no, it was a bit of a dig. It was Vossi went down to the bench to try and get a bit more communication, direct communication with the boys, and unfortunately it didn't work. Boy, got a very young side at the moment, unfortunate suspensions and injuries to key players.
And
Terrible game. Wasn't it? Terrible game to watch.
Yeah, no,
How'd you go watching it?
Oh, I was in pain, I told you, mate. So it was...
Didn't you hear, Bill? Stupid.
Oh, Brent's talking to me.
Hey, just quickly, Jamison, did you think he was soft?
Throwing the producer under the bus.
Hey, Bill, speaking of being in pain.
Yes.
I mean, last week,
Oh, now.
the flaming Ron. Now, you went at the hottest
Here.
fire in the history of the world.
Look at the head starting to warm
You were
up.
going all right.
Yeah.
In fact, you went really well.
It takes about 20 seconds, Gaz, and then it just explodes.
Right.
Your mouth goes numb, your lips go numb,
Yeah.
and your head nearly explodes, let me tell you. Very, very difficult, that challenge.
Well, you did well. You did better than Jim.
We might have a photo of Bill in the rooms after the show too.
I think
Gary,
so,
there he is, just, trying to ease the pressure a touch, dear.
Because you know what happens? What goes in, Gaz, it must come
Oh,
out.
how'd you go? All right.
It's a sensation.
Hey, you were better than Fossil. I've got to say this. You are not a fan of the hot food.
No.
You are.
I love
and you
hot
were
food.
poor.
That
You were
was
weak.
seriously physically distressing,
Well, he
eating
was
that,
struggling.
and so much so that there were too many people.
There's you.
There's too many people that said that he didn't have the real thing.
He did have the real
I
thing.
did have the real thing.
I broke wind. I broke wind later that evening and set fire to my socks. That was now.
Here's backstage. This is you trying to recover.
mate.
What was, Sammy,
Look at this behaviour. Oh, no. Oh, there's some nasal resonance there.
Yeah, a
for us.
little bit of nasal leakage there.
You're soaked up.
These are scorpion. We're not going to do this all again, but for the sake of this, these
Sammy,
are the
I've got a
actual.
question for you. What was actually worse, that Ring of Fire or the other Ring of Fire?
Yeah, no. I told you it was distressing physically.
Here we are.
Oh, yeah,
What
sorry.
about this one?
Yeah, oh shit.
Look at this man.
But you've got to have someone hold the words up.
You get the words up closer.
Well, that's what they do. The woman comes out with the sign saying round 3, but instead of round 3, she put the words up.
All right. What do you got there, by the way?
Now, we're not going to just labour this, but the flaming Ron, without all the pastry and crap that was in it, that is a flaming Ron. And you, man, who have no nerve in your head because it's full of plates and metal brackets and pipes and anything else, sheet metal panelling on it. Why don't you take a bite of that and you just tell us if we're gagging or not?
Now, that is a
Bite it in.
scorpion.
Don't be a dick. Bite it in half.
Ask me in your accent. Or your
Do
J-
it
we might-
All right, bite this in half, please, and we might get you down to the D's.
Now,
Bite
that's a
it in half.
scorpion chili.
It's a scorpion chili.
Brownie, no.
Oh, he's done it. He
Did
did
you
it.
get any seeds?
How
All
was it,
right,
Brownie?
no, Bill said it takes about 20
I
seconds.
don't think it's hit yet.
No,
10
well,
seconds in.
geez, I tell you what, if that doesn't get you, I'll be annoyed.
Well, we might do.
Oh, be annoyed.
We'll go to an ad break,
Did you get
Brownie,
any
'cause we've got-
seeds?
Yeah, I think so.
We've got to keep moving. We'll
Right.
have a camera on Brownie during the ad break. We'll work out how he's going to do it. But we've got to get to a break because up next, one of the greatest basketball talents in the world is going to join us, Andrew Bogut.
Tonight on the Footy Show, with the Hawks sitting pretty on top of the ladder, Coach Al Clarkson wanders by, and there is plenty on the agenda. Hutchie flew to Canberra for the AFL Hall of Fame to report on who's in and who's not. Not a small night for our man Lordo. We pile more cash onto the Tour de Croft tally board. New demon Chris Dawes drops by ahead of this weekend's clash against his former club. Sam delivers a confrontational street talk from Dandenong.
You couldn't give a stuff about people like me and this guy and that guy.
People will realise they're dealing with something not human.
No.
Yeah.
Give them one of these ones, Force. And speaking of Dandenong, their own NBA superstar Andrew Bogut swings by next. That's all tonight on a big edition of The Footy Show.
Who would have thought steps of Parliament House as a 16-year-old that Matthew Lloyd would one day find his way here, the first ever Hall of Fame outside of Melbourne. Matthew Lloyd, congratulations.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, as you said, 16 years of age when I first played a game of football. I never thought I'd be standing here tonight. It's been an amazing night.
And you talked tonight about how you hadn't thought much about your journey until now.
I actually didn't enjoy my career, to be honest, Hutch, because I was always thinking that I had to do it again week after week, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform. So I never sat back to enjoy anything. So now I've made a point this year of the accolades I've had at Essendon and now here at the AFL Hall of Fame. I thought I'm going to enjoy this, and with my family, it's just been a fantastic year and a fantastic night tonight.
You feel blessed to have been straight in, first year inductee?
I still stand around people and think, what am I doing talking to these people? They're all guys I idolised, and to be inducted at 35 years of age doesn't feel right in some senses, but I also believe that I worked that hard to get to where I am right now, that I'm grateful that they saw me fit to induct me the first year I was eligible.
You wear your heart on your sleeve. Were you a little bit emotional tonight?
Oh yeah, I think the family gets me a lot, Hutch, because they pretty much just sacrifice everything. Just to see even my 6-year-old daughter, Jada, just take it all in, and my wife, parents, brothers, sisters, that probably got me going the most. And even I probably took Sheeds for granted at the end of my career. What a phenomenal teacher as well as football coach he was.
You'll always have Matthew Lloyd, AFL Hall of Famer next to your name now. How's that feel?
Still hasn't sunken in just yet, Hutch, but as I said, I'll look forward now to this night on the footy calendar for the rest of my life.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Hutch. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Matthew Lloyd, a superstar at footy. And while we're saying well done, Scott West, Hassan Man, of course, from your club, Gary, Brian, all inducted into the AFL Hall of Fame. And that is a great accolade, and well done to all of those gentlemen.
Unbelievable Matthew Lloyd. We all love Lloydie. 926 goals, 270 games. But he is only good at one thing, and that is football. He is the biggest unco, and we saw this during the Footy Show games. Have a look at him here in the equestrian.
No good at anything.
Mate, he is no good at anything else other than football. I've never seen a more unco person in rowing. He was terrible in the rowing. Look at this in the archery. Now, that was embarrassing. He hated that. He walked home that night.
Exactly.
He was that embarrassed for old Lordo. Superstar footballer, but terrible at anything else.
You did right. So well done to Lordo, but you might hear some laughter in the background. No. Brownie, first of all, let's go to you. Who's ate the scorpion chili? You're going okay?
I'm going all right, mate. Yeah.
A bit hot, a little bit hot.
Get Kyle's put it on the bolognese on next Friday night. Might fire me up a bit.
Samuel also in the ad break thought that they mustn't have been of the super hot variety, so he gulped one down. What's happened, old champ?
Fossil.
What's going on?
I made a fatal mistake, Gary.
What?
Of wiping my eyes. I presume you're there, Gary, but I can't see you.
It looks like you just come out of surgery, Foss.
When is the penny going to drop and you work out that you can't eat hot food? This happens time after time.
Open your eyes.
Just do that.
Did you mention about the
tissues in front of you?
Compose yourself, because we've got one of the biggest names in world sport.
Incidentally, did you see the chief? He anchored the chief.
He did, and did a wonderful job, Jason.
He did. And they had a terrace. A terrace out on the just so the chief could recuperate in between ad breaks. And,
He did a great job.
If I could say, Gary,
Well done to the chief.
if Jerry Ryan is serious about promoting King Kong, look no further than the chief, because he actually does look like an ape.
He's a great man and has done a wonderful job and continues to do a wonderful job, as does our next guest. We always pride ourselves, Australians, on how we perform on the world stage. Right now, one of the biggest names in basketball is this man. He was selected as #1 draft pick in 2005, went to the Milwaukee Bucks. He's now at the Golden State Warriors. He dominated in the playoffs, just fell short, being good enough to join us tonight. Please welcome him, Andrew Bogut. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for coming in, mate. We really appreciate it. Only a couple of weeks ago, you were getting it done on the world stage. Basketball in Australia is just going along okay, but the NBA is as big as it's ever been. It was a marvellous performance to get as far. You were the fairy tale story of the playoffs.
Yeah, we were, and we were given, I think, 0.1% chance by ESPN and Sports Illustrated to even make the playoffs, and then got through the first round as well. So, great result for the club.
And you also had an unbelievable playoff series against the Spurs. And game 1, you were that far out in front, it didn't matter. What the bloody hell happened?
Very similar to your club.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, up 16 with 4 minutes left, and we ended up losing it. Probably cost us a series going down 4-2. So, still stings a little bit right now.
Tell us about what it's like out on the court. I mean, we all watch it on the television, and it's a physical game. You playing the centre up against the biggest boys. A bit of sledging going on. It's the elbows are flying around.
A little bit. There's a little bit of physicality, but that's a part of the game. Once the playoffs start, the referees tend to swallow their whistles a little more and let the real men play. So that's when it gets real testy.
And Tim Duncan, who's a massive name in basketball, he soaked it up a bit. He thought you were playing a bit rough.
Yes, that was the footy from the junior days, but yeah, he didn't like my physicality, so he complained to the papers. And the next 2 games, I had 3 or 4 fouls in the first 5 minutes, which was pretty disappointing.
Hey, mate, you must be heartened. As Gaz said, we've both got sons about the same age, 16 through sort of 19, and they are transfixed by the NBA. My kids, and I know yours do too, just watch every second of it. So the support for the sport is extraordinary.
It's massive, and it's getting bigger and bigger. I've noticed even the earlier teens, 12, 13, 14, all begging their parents for NBA League Pass and are following it. And that's a great step. I just hope the NBL can somehow draw those fans into the Australian League as well.
Bogey, it must be hard being a big Aussie over there. I've got some vision here. Have you got a lot of mates over there, mate? That you play with? Have a look at this. Look at this. Look at the high fives here. Yeah. And then, of course, here, nice goal. You're on the bench here.
Nice goal.
Give me 5. Oh, maybe not. Bogey, what's going on?
Yeah, no love, mate. So I thought I'd just take the piss out of the situation a little bit. But, yeah, the free throw line one's been played around the world. Had a lot of YouTube hits, but just one of those spur of the moment things. We had one bloke looking up in the rafters, and the other one was talking to the coach. So it wasn't a good time.
Now, I'd like to ask you a question.
Maybe you're right. You're
I'm having
sweating a little bit, mate.
trouble speaking.
Good.
Who are the people in the comp that tick you off? Who are the good people? Who are the wankers?
Kevin Garnett's a guy that I usually cop a fine from the league after I've played against the Celtics because we get into it and I always get a technical foul for going at it with him. So he's a guy that kind of doesn't take kindly to the international players for whatever reason.
Doesn't he?
But when he goes at me, I'll go back. That's a difference. So
specifically Australians or just anyone that's outside of?
Yeah, just international guys in general. Yeah. Just tends to have, I don't know if it's by choice, but tends to go them. Some of them, the Euros kind of don't tend to bark back, but I'll go back at him and cop a couple of technicals and some big fines.
Hey, speaking of superstars, what about LeBron James? No bigger name in the NBA, and we noticed that he likes to enjoy success, Andrew, and we're wondering if you're heading down this path as well. This is after the win a couple of years ago, where he's gone to a nightclub and just run up a bill of 170 grand. There we are, $171,937, Cristal, champagne, vodka buckets, all styles of businesses.
Rich flavours.
Well, you put that back, I want to know who had the Bud Lights.
But the money is extraordinary. It is. I mean, you are Australia's highest paid athlete, but these boys earn, a country's annual bloody income.
Yeah, and they'll give it back too. That's a good thing for restaurateurs and bars. They'll give it back. But yeah, they tend to enjoy themselves after a championship. I think Dallas the year before spent $400,000 at the same club. So. The Cristal bottles and that are 5-10 grand a pop, so you get a few of those and a few pretty ladies, as you know, Sammy. The bill jumps up.
Jeff?
Andrew, you've had some pretty horrific injuries over your career.
Yep.
I know this always probably comes up every time you do an interview, but...
The elbow?
Not so much that, but just you feel that you're over them, and how long do you think you can keep playing in the best league in the
It's been a rough couple of years for me. Broke my elbow, my wrist and my index all in the same injury, which probably most of you have seen. Fell off the rim and got my legs taken out under me, and then I broke my talus.
Look at this.
Broke my ankle, so I might want to turn away.
Don't look at this. Don't look.
Oh, yeah. Walked it off though.
Yeah.
You're proud, Brownie. Walked it off.
Could have got a stretcher off, Bogey.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, no.
that is no good at all.
Oh, jeez.
Now, Andrew, I know you're well remunerated. Would you like to be a patriotic Aussie and buy a football club over here, namely Melbourne?
How much are they going for, mate? What do you reckon they're going for today?
What would you think the going price for the Melbourne Football Club would be at the minute?
I don't think Andrew would be that interested in Melbourne. He may very well be interested in Essendon. He's got a massive allegiance to the Bombers. You're a huge Essendon fan.
Nice segue there, Sammy.
Yeah, that's how you get rid of that.
Yeah, I am. Going to the game tomorrow against Carlton. Thank the Essendon Club, Footy Club for having me, chairman's function. And hopefully we get a win. The last 2 times I've been to the Essendon Carlton game, it hasn't ended so nicely, so hopefully tomorrow it changes.
Hey, Bill, I reckon you'd find a seat for Andrew at your chairman's function.
Probably 2. He'd need them. But no doubt about that. Do they get you up? They use you much? And can they find a jumper big enough?
Well, mate, I don't have the same problem as you. I'm just
Not bad, let's have a look at that vision again with the wrist and broken. No, let's have a look at the Bombers. While we're on the Bombers, they were pretty disappointing last week, the Bombers. They look slow and were beaten by 44 points. A couple of big ins here. Have a look at this. Davey Howlett, Hurley and Joe Danaher is in. The son of Anthony. And we're looking forward to seeing him. Out goes Dempsey, Jeddah, Gumbledon, and Tom Bell Chambers has been dropped.
Elcho.
That is a big one because he's been very good. The Blue Buggers! 94-point win last week. Have a listen to these ins. Judd, Eddie Betts, and Lucas are in. Out goes Menzel, Bell and Bootsma. Heat Scotland plays his 200th game. He's been a star. Very, very good game this. They looked a bit slow last.
Just want to have a look at Joe Danaher, Billy boy.
I was on me roll.
This is the father-son who was taken father-son by the Bombers. Could have gone to Sydney as well. Would have gone, I think, pick number 1. Lockie Whitfield's a fantastic young player. But this kid is, you think of a young Paul Salmon and the career that he had at Essendon and Hawthorn. That's how good he could potentially be. And to debut on Friday night against the Blues is going to be really exciting. So another reason to get along to that game or get in front of the television. Who do we like, Bill?
I like Carlton. They just look a bit quicker to me. And there's been good money for Carlton and the punters are normally right. So the Blue Baggers for me, G-Banger.
Yeah, match of the round, this one. I think it's a big game for where these two are going to end up in the season, but I think the Bombers will get over the line.
Yeah, Jay, I think the Bombers can bounce back as well. They've been disappointing the last month. They're really lacking scoring power at the moment, but Hurley and Davey are big inclusions in the forward 50 for them.
Hey, Buggy, do you get to see the AFL over there and are you able to follow your Bombers?
Yeah, thankfully they finally made it online for us expats that are overseas, so I can watch it from the living room.
And what about the scandal that they've been embroiled in since the pre-season? Have you been across that?
Yeah, a little bit. Appreciate your help with that, Sammy, by the way, with Tony Jones and the lads. But yeah, it's tough, but I think we can't judge it too much until the facts come out. And
Yes, exactly my point. That's the only point I'm on about.
Well, we like that point. Have a look at this. This is, of course, the jumper that Essendon are going to be wearing to celebrate Force, their 140th anniversary, if you don't mind. That game was against Carlton, 1873. Bombers will wear this jumper and, of course, a guard of honour as well. And there you go on the back there for the 140. And a nice little lick for the sponsors too.
And Bogey's a car man. How many cars you got in the garage, mate?
A few here and there.
Someone said you had 300.
That's a big warehouse. I know Sam,
you've got a big warehouse because one of my cars is in your warehouse.
What have you been doing? You've been hooning?
No, I haven't been hooning.
Blew his motor.
Well, you blew the motor for
I
us.
didn't blow the motor.
I blew itself. Excuse the pun.
Hey, Andrew, our audience, of course, love their cars. You are a muscle car freak. You've got 30 odd of them, we understand, and you love not only the American muscle cars, but also the famous Aussie ones, the Brock cars from back in the 70s and 80s, and also the big Fords.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 30, but a lot of them are over in the States, obviously, a little easier to buy over there if I'm looking for the US stuff. But I've got a good mix, and That's kind of my outlet. I like tinkering with cars a little bit. The old man was a mechanic, so that's kind of the roots that I
I've
had.
got a lot of Nissans in the garage
Nissan
as well.
Navaras, everything.
Navaras. He's got
A little mini.
Do you reckon, Bill?
His head just sticking out. Now, I've got a serious question here.
All right.
5 weeks ago in the NBA, one of the players come out and announced he was gay. Was there a big uproar over that, and how was it taken?
Yeah, it got a lot of attention. We got prepped on it because the media out there were looking for sound bites and looking for someone to say the wrong thing.
Yep.
But it's prevalent in today's world, obviously, and it's widely accepted. So there's no reason why it shouldn't be in sport. And hopefully that we put it into those kind of conversations in the future because it should just be the norm.
The norm.
Hey, Andrew, I don't know if you're aware of this. I know you love the footy show, and I know you love our main man here to my right. So you'd probably be aware that years ago he had a broken leg, got stretchered off the ground, made an enormous amount of it, Andrew, if you've ever seen the vision.
Yeah, I've seen
anyway,
it many times.
one of the preeminent artists in Australia decided to put a painting together, and we've got it here. This is the Moaning Gary. Now, we put this online last week, of course, to raise money for the Tour de Croft. The boardrooms of Australia beckoned, and we had a few gypsies who decided to bid when they had no cashish, and it got to about 90 grand.
Yeah.
So we had to strip them out and start again, and we only want proper bidders. I think it's at $3,500 as we speak.
And we should say we have located those people that gave those bogus bids.
Yep.
And we know who they are, and if they do it again, we'll name them because you're not dudding us,
We'll
you're
make 'em
dudding the Breast Cancer Network of Australia, not us, so don't be dicks.
Exactly.
So they get stuck into that. There you go. There are all the details.
And the audio, it's audio as well. It's not just a picture. You press that
Press
button.
that button, Bill, and see, Andrew, you'll love this.
Press
This
it
is
hard,
interactive.
Bill,
The
hard.
Moaning Gary. Here we go. So, noise as well as pictures. So get stuck into that. 10 o'clock tonight.
Real sophisticated
You know
stuff.
it is, Gary. We like it. It's
Is that
funny.
the shave version? You shave your legs on that version?
Oh, it's about to wrap you up, I think, baby.
I've got to ask him who wins, the Heat or the
Oh,
Spurs.
who wins? Yes, good point.
That'd be a good question, probably, I would have thought.
Well, we've got two Aussies on the Spurs, if you didn't know. So,
Who we got?
Paddy Mills and Aaron Baines.
Yeah, just for the people out there. Yep.
Yes, not getting a lot of minutes at the moment, so hopefully they get some run, but I'd probably say Miami in 7 if I had to pick.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, not only here in the Dockland studios, but around Australia, this man is a sporting superstar. Andrew Bogut, thank you for being on the show. All right, we're going to take a break. Lots more still to come on a big edition of the Footy Show.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. Thanks, of course, to our magnificent sponsors, the Nissan Navara, Home Timber and Harbour, and sportsbet.com.au.
Oh, yes.
Very nice to have Andrew Bogut. What a superstar he was. Alistair Clarkson still to come, and Chris Dawes. But right now, time for Sam's mailbag.
This is from Steve of Tatong. I know, Sam dear, I know you're proud of Lloydie at the moment, but there's a reason to be proud of your other colleagues as well. Bill has been honoured at the Jerilderie Bakery.
Oh, well done,
This
Bill.
is the wall of fame at the bakery.
Good work. Oh, Ned
This
Kelly.
is
Ned Kelly.
Ned Kelly
Ned
and
Kelly.
Abe Lincoln, is he there?
John Monash. So John Monash used to
Why
live in
would Abe
Jewellery.
Lincoln be there?
Yeah,
And this is Bill's likeness. That's your man.
Oh, no. What the hell happened there, Bill?
No, that's when I was young and had hair and skinny.
Well,
And
what about the shape of your head?
Looks like my head when I had the accident a couple of years ago.
nothing looks like your head. You know what's very similar between myself and Ned Kelly?
What?
Both well hung.
Of course, if you're being grammatically correct, Bill, Ned Kelly was hanged. Humans aren't hung, they're hanged.
And Bill's not well hanged.
You should also, says Steve of Tatong, you should also be proud of Gaddy, who is
yes,
now
we are.
a celebrated chef, according to a recent magazine. This is it, look.
Look at this man. Look at this man.
And it says...
Flog.
Look at him.
And he says he has a secret recipe for soup.
What's funny about it?
3 shank.
What is the secret recipe? Is it not goat soup or anything?
Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret.
Well, tell us what it is.
Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret.
I'll tell you, the 3...
You don't know what goes into it.
3 shank soup.
Yeah, you just drink it.
Gary, this is an article about one of life's great wankers.
Yes.
It says here, he's refreshing, articulate, polished and polysyllabic. And I look on here, it says, add cooking force to this Renaissance man's list of talents. This is a bogan from Kyabram.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Pete and Bev, who are the most down-to-earth, beautiful people I know, will read that and wonder who the hell it's written about.
Pete wouldn't read it.
Jealousy showing.
Not only a bogan from Kyabram, but he migrated from Tasmania. That's where you were born.
That's right. I know that. I'm aware of that.
And Sam, says Steve of Tatong, you should also be proud of Mick Malthouse for letting it all hang out at training.
Mick. What's going on there?
That, if I may say so, is a very clever photo taken by I don't know who. We should know who took that photo, but congratulations, because that is very well done.
A bit like Billy.
Hey?
A bit like Billy.
Nothing like Billy.
Leonard of Rowville. Leonard of Rowville.
Yes.
Dear John, did you see footy cards are being banned at some schools? Now, this is true. What a disgrace. They're being banned. You know why? Because the kids, they think, might get depressed if they don't get their card with their football hero.
Older kids are preying on the young kids.
Come on.
They're taking a brownie and swapping him for a G and Syracuse.
Good swap, that one.
Throw in a...
Suppose you need a couple of cards for Brownie, wouldn't you?
3 grand.
3.
I swapped a couple of Gary Lines. I
banned
remember back in grade 2, swapped a couple of Gary Lines.
hard to get those.
Very ordinary footballers I swapped them with.
Banned from barracking for Melbourne, because that'll make them
get on
depressed.
with it.
Now, part of the problem, there are a lot of fake cards around, and they are very hard to pick. Now, have a look at them. They're very hard to pick.
Look at this.
Look at Dopey.
This is the Gary Lyon card.
Oh, no!
Is that really?
Very nice, Chris one.
Is that another one? Is this really Alan Tuvey?
The eyes of a possum.
Is this Dyson Heppel? Is this you, Gia?
Gia.
That's Dougie.
Dancing Doug.
And would this be Jonathan Brown?
I think it is, actually.
Not bad. Force that last one.
Franco. Who? Franco.
Franco,
of
yes.
Arthur's Seat. Sammy, any advice for Melbourne? Well, we've got a bit of advice. Never panic, never give up, and always have plan B like this lad.
Watch the boy with the cymbals. Watch how he goes here. Look. Cymbals. I think he's going beautifully there. Hasn't got a big roll, Jim, to be honest.
It doesn't look like it.
But he's nailing it at the moment, Bill.
Good.
Through what's a very important time of the school here.
Oh, yeah.
He gets it right. He's gone 2 for 2.
Symbols.
He's lining up his next one. Oh, no. Now what do you do, Jim?
Oh, look at him.
You only got the one symbol. What do you do?
Oh, here we go.
Look at the lady on the drum. She's laughing. What's he
Plan
going
B.
to do? Oh,
Go.
there it is.
If you want to be a part of this segment, TPO Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria 3001, Sam's.mailbag at 9.com.au or footyshow.com.au. All right, let's keep bowling along on this Footy Show edition. And, there he goes. He's still got the hand up. Big game, Saturday night, Metricon Stadium. The Gold Coast at home to the Kangas. Very impressed, Bill, with the Gold Coast at your ground on Saturday night. They were terrific. They are coming big style, and Gary Ablett, the best player in the competition, just keeps getting better and better. They take on North Melbourne, who had a good game against the St Kilda Footy Club, of course. A big start they had, and Drew Petrie is a wonderful player. Great servant of the footy club, 178 points. He was sensational. Majak Dor comes back into the lineup. Brownie, you've seen a bit of the Gold Coast Suns. How are the Kangas going to go against them at home?
They've improved a hell of a lot. Got some great young players that are physically developing now. But the Kangas are in pretty good form after last week. They blew St Kilda off the park in the first quarter, and I believe they won't be able to handle North Melbourne at all.
Gia?
We played the Suns about 3 weeks ago, and I think it was more about the Bulldogs, but I think it should have been about the Suns. They're really on the improve. Charlie Dixon's a big in for them. Last time I think he played, he kicked 6 goals. So the Kangaroos will have to be on, and no lapses, Jim, and they should get over the line.
Yeah, you'd think the Kangaroos will win, but they were very impressive. Three-quarter time, it was all tied up. They were 2 goals in front down there at Simmons Stadium last week.
You were starting to sweat it up.
Well, I had to put down my beer and go outside and have a look at it. I was getting a bit worried. But Rory Thompson is a star. He's an All-Australian centre-half back. What the old pirate man over there? He is. He's in sensational form. Prestia, Wilkinson and Gary Ablett. You just don't tag him. He's sensational. But North just up there.
Look at this man.
There you go.
You are a fool of a man.
One day they're going to lose North Melbourne, and when they do, Jim starts his little act of penance. No, the Kangaroos easily up there, Jimmy.
Not sure it's going to be easy, but I think they might win. I think it'll be a good game. Gold Coast on the right track.
Not sure that they'll win.
I think we hope they don't. No, we do hope they do, Jim. But if they don't, it'll be funny. I think we forgot to mention Heath Scotland, by the way, with the excitement of Andrew Bogut. Did you mention his 200th game last? He's playing for Carlton, game number 200. So well done to Heath Scotland there. All right, we're going to take a break on the Footy Show. Don't go away though. Alistair Clarkson, the coach of the Hawthorn Footy Club, to join the show.
Oh, welcome back to the Footy Show. Shane Crawford, of course, very close to riding from Melbourne to Perth. One of the more extraordinary things, further than the Tour de France in less time. And here he is out on the training track, and this is the sort of entourage he's going to be dragging with him all the way over. Quite extraordinary support we've already had. Exactly right. Hello, Shane.
How are you, mate?
How is the training going?
Training's going well, yep. Everything's on target at the moment, so far so good.
Well, you leave 2 weeks today. You ready?
I'm ready.
As you're ever going to be?
Yep,
all right,
I'm
well,
ready.
if we can split, let's have a look at the unbelievably generous companies who have already supported the Tour de Croft.
Thank you
so
so
that's
much.
Fantastic. And we've got some more to go. Who do we start
the
with?
very first one is Mouse Productions. Good on you, Mouse.
Mouse Promotions. And of course, Mouse is one of our favourites. In fact, Sam and Bill do regular work for Mouse. Provide affordable personality for your sporting club, hotel or corporate event. Thank you very much for that, Mouse. The next one is?
Wacker Newson.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very
Suppliers
much,
of piping,
Wacker.
construction equipment.
Newson.
Including vibration, compaction, excavators, wheel loaders and skid steers. 10 grand is absolutely fantastic. Thanks for that. Who's next?
Wilson Security. Thank you so much.
Australia's leading
Yes,
security
Jim.
provider, Integrated Security Solutions. Everyone knows Wilson Security. We thank them very much. Who's next?
Equip Super.
They've been a reliable investment performer for over 80 years. So for your super and financial advice, with confidence, Equip Super are great people. Who we got next?
Jets Fitness. Thank you so much.
yes.
Love it. And there you go. Work out on your terms.
No contracts, low fees, 24/7. They're open. Check them out online at jets.com.au. And the final one?
And we have Easy Bonds Global Payments. Thank you so much. Attacker.
We mentioned them a couple of weeks ago, and they are in for $10,000. So thank you very much to Easy Bonds. Now, Wayne...
That is incredible. That is.
Look,
Seriously, I can't thank everyone enough. That is amazing.
that is a full board, so if you want to be a
looking
part
forward
of this, it's pretty easy to do. We'll get the details up here. Shane, what do you do?
Well, there you go. Get behind Tour de Croft donations. You can go to footyshow.com.au. You can go Tour de Croft at 9.com.au, and can't thank you enough. Looking forward to it. I'm going to go do some training.
Well done, Shane. Excellent work. $10,000 to get on the board. Other sponsors are coming through. Tour de Croft at 9.com.au, footyshow.com.au. Mouse Promotions, of course, not Productions, who are getting involved as well. OK, our next guest here, almost at the halfway mark of the season. The Hawthorn Footy Club have got a bye. They lost the first game of the season to the Geelong Footy Club. They've won the next 9 in a row. If you don't mind, they are going beautifully on top of the ladder. Please welcome Alistair Clarkson, the coach of the Hawthorn Footy Club. Welcome, mate.
All right.
Very nice to see you. Just the bye this weekend, sitting on top, a nice place to be.
Yeah, this gives the players a bit of a spell and the coaches, but had a good week this week. We've been up to the Hall of Fame dinner on Tuesday night. So to all those inductees, congratulations. A great footy night on the calendar.
Hey,
Big Sammy. You're in it, aren't you?
He is.
You didn't go. Where were you?
Where were you?
I had duties back here.
Street talk?
And swatting up for the show and getting facts and figures. And I was inducted with the Chief and David Parkin.
You're preparing for this interview, weren't you?
I was.
Hey, Clarko, the most frightening bit about 9-1 is at the start of the year, quite rightly, a lot of people said that Hawthorn had drawn the worst draw in modern AFL history. I think you played every finalist in your first 7 or 8 weeks, and yet you're 9-1. So that's scary.
Yeah, we did it pretty tough early on, but I think the Cats had a tougher draw than us, actually. I think the first 4 games were 6-day breaks, so they too have had a really good start to the year. So, listen, we're pleased where we're at. We've had a bit of adversity with some guys going down with knee injuries, but and Cyril going down too. So, hopefully we can get Cyril and a couple of other boys back after the break.
How quickly till we see him?
Cyril?
Yep.
Probably a week or 2 after the break, I think. He's travelling along pretty well. We just want to make sure he's completely right when he comes back, so probably a couple of weeks.
Hey, Clarko, we don't get access to you too often, so it's great to have you. Got some questions about Buddy, frankly, and I reckon you know that. We take you back to late last year and clear a few things up. Boys are in Vegas. He and Gibbo are over in Vegas having a break, and it was reported that you went over there and you were over there and you caught up with him, which raised the eyebrows of some people, not so much the others. Do you want to put that into some context for us? Yeah,
I caught up with Bud and Gib when I was over there, but we quite often catch up with a lot of players when we travel overseas. You know, I went to Seattle and Chicago with Sammy Mitchell. I was meant to catch up with the big rough in San Antonio. We went and visited the Spurs last year. We just missed each other by a day. So we do that quite frequently. So
we're interested in you catching up with Buddy.
Caught up with the big fella there, and Gib as well.
So had a robust conversation with him?
It wasn't too robust. They were a little bit keen on having a drink for that time of the year, Sammy. But no, listen, I catch up with the players whenever we travel.
So it wasn't testy. There was no angst because when he came back from that trip, that was when he announced to the Footy World that he was going to put off all contract negotiations. So the Footy World put 2 and 2 together and come up.
No, he actually announced before he went on the trip that he was. Yeah, so that's where it's a little bit different to what's been reported. But I spoke to him about that, but it was more about preparing for this year. I spoke to Gib about a couple of things as well. None of it to do with reportedly being on the sauce too much, but more to do with just how their season was going to pan out in 2013.
So where does it sit now? There was also suggested that I think Andrew Newbold said round 16 would be about the time you'd like to know one way or the other. Is that still the case, or are you just going to let it play out?
Well, we've just got to let it play out. We'd love to know as soon as possible, but the reality is it could be end of September or early October, and if it is what it is, I suppose, and we'll just deal with it as we go. But our attitude all along has been, whilst he's a contracted player at the Hawthorn Footy Club, we just hope that he can do as best as he can for our side and help us try and win a flag this year.
So that interests me, Clarko. If he comes to you and says, let's say 2 weeks out from the finals, I'm going to take this offer and I'm going to go, but I'm a committed Hawthorn player for the rest of this season. You as his coach and the coach of every other player on your list, how will you handle it?
I think we've just got to deal with those sorts of things. Similar sort of thing last year. You know, Leon Cameron and some of our coaches, Adam Simpson, were going through coaching approaches from other clubs, and it's difficult. You might lose your coaches in a final series. Not easy to deal with, and you've got to make a decision. If they get jobs, will you let them go, or will they complete their contract? We took the approach with the coaches last year that we'd keep them to complete their work at Hawthorn whilst they're contracted, and we'll do the same thing with our players.
Clarko, if you did win the premiership, the grand final, and Buddy was to go, you would only get compensation pick number 20. You happy with that?
Love a couple of picks like the Cats got, mate.
Yes.
And I think the Demons got a couple for Scully as well. But listen, they're the rules, and you just got to abide by them, Billy. But it'd be a bit stiff to only get that pick if he did happen to go. But we're still pretty hopeful that he'll stay at our club.
And just on that, Clarko, and I know you're probably sick of talking about it, but if Damien Barrett reported last week that it's going to be in the vicinity of $9 million. $9 million. Over 6 years, which is 1.5 a year, which is a lot of money. There is a capacity for the AFL then to pay an ambassadorial fee, which they have to Carmichael Hunt and to Izzy Folau. That can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, which potentially can bump it up to around $2 million. Now, no club, regardless of your club, can compete with that sort of money. Does it annoy you, and the AFL won't get involved, they've said that, haven't they? They won't get involved unless something happens and then they'll look at it. The capacity for them to do that, to put your club in a situation where you can only go to here, are you happy with that situation?
Well, there's not a hell of a lot you can do about it, guys. Our attitude has always been we'll present an offer to Bud that we think is relative to what we can afford to pay. Whatever happens outside of that, we can't control. And if he chooses to go, and there's AFL money that gets added to it at the end of it, then that's for the AFL and Bud to work out. But just from our point of view, we'll offer what we think we can offer as a club relative to our salary cap, and we don't want to cannibalise our own system too much. So once it stretches beyond what we can afford, then we'll just happily have to push ourselves out of the market.
So it's an Ablett scenario. The Cats were prepared to go to X amount and not particularly keen to budge.
Yeah. Well, and you've got to do that in a sense if you want to stay in that premiership window and keep relativity with your salary cap in terms of paying your players a pretty fair amount. And we've got some good players, and we don't want to lose those guys if all for the sake of just keeping one.
Must have been an anxious... Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, obviously it's an uncomfortable situation for Bud, but the whole footy club as well, getting dragged into it. Is it something you approach with the playing group, mate, about, how to deal with it all?
Yeah, we spoke about it a bit before the start of the year, Brownie, but we haven't had to deal with it at all, really, until tonight. But our guys have been pretty professional. It helps when you're winning, but the scrutiny hasn't been too bad at all.
An anxious start to the year because you lost the first game and Jeff called for your sacking. And you've kicked on because you haven't lost a game since. You must be really disappointed he's not still there.
He's ended up re-entering the 4A, isn't he?
Apparently he is. He's just
going to have a crack at Jeepers Mob, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
How would he go, Clarko? You reckon?
Oh, listen, he'd be terrific. I'm not sure he's a long-termer. He gets in, has a crack, rattles the cage a bit. And he was terrific for our club. He's terrific for our state, of course, but he won't be around at the club for a long time. But for the short period he is, he will do a great job if he does end up doing it. But that's obviously for he and the clubs to work out.
I'll take you back to your first year, and you tell me whether this is right or not. This is what I've heard. You've appointed the coach of the Hawthorn Footy Club, and you got your teeth into it as you do, and I know you well, and you're a full bottle at it. After a while, you noticed some things that needed to be done, and you put in requests, or you said we needed new infrastructure or new stats, and Hawthorn couldn't afford it. And in the end, you financed that yourself. Now, I don't want to embarrass you, but that speaks to exactly who you are as a person, and that is an incredible thing.
Yeah, we were pretty down and out as a footy club at that point in time, and obviously when you're appointed to a role, you need a fair amount of support, and if you can't afford the things that you require as a club, then it was more important that we got that resource in some sort of manner, and if the club couldn't pay for it, then I didn't want to go without that resource.
Speaking of...
That would not have happened before, I am telling you.
That's over and above the beyond...
Over and above.
What do you call that?
Yes,
beyond the call of duty.
That's it,
speaking of Dire Straits, did he ever approach you, or anyone from Melbourne approach you to coach the Demons?
What? No, I didn't. I didn't have an approach from the Demons, but
from him.
But my management did.
Oh,
my management did, yeah.
Oh, well, that's a subtle, not directly.
It's only a play with words, but I reckon an inquiry and an approach is a different thing, Sammy.
Yeah.
And
why did you not take it? Did you give it credence? Did you look at it?
No, I didn't, because I was still in season with the Hawks, and I still firmly believed that I was going to continue to coach at that club. I just had to get past Jeffrey Gibb. I thought if I get the rest of the board members on side, I'll be right. But Jeffrey Gibb was a bit hard to turn until late in the season.
Hey, Clarko, during that time, we just noticed whether there was a bit of angst between yourself and the former president, of course, Jeff Kennett, and we've got some, I think, secret vision, which I think you've already seen, of a scuffle that no one saw.
This is not. Tell you what, Jim.
Jeff down on the ground.
That is disgraceful.
Now, Clarko, did you see this when it went on the show?
I was out on that particular night, but my wife taped it and had a bit of a laugh when we got home. But you got a couple of welts, didn't you, Sammy?
I tell you what, you gave me a nice flogging.
we would like you to know that was 100% Gary's idea.
That
We came into the meeting.
That is not right. And I texted you on the night and told you these two did that.
I'd tell you what else he wanted to put on was you and Chris Fagan, your good mate, your assistant coach here. How are you getting on? Here you are. Gazza wanted this in the box. Have a look at him here. Fags, what are you doing, you idiot? I told you. Poor old Fags is here, your good assistant. Next year here, mate. Hang on. Here we go. What were you saying to him?
Yeah, we had Gibbo got injured and we couldn't get the stretcher out onto the ground. So I was a bit poor old face. Settle down, lad. You should have just given me the phone.
It's an unbelievable environment, the coaching environment. You're still enjoying it now as much as you were when you first started?
Yeah, I enjoyed it as much as ever, and especially now we're got an opportunity to win finals and play some good footy, and our players have we've got a good crop of players that have been there for a long period of time, but also got some young ones coming through too. So that's really exciting for our club.
Gia.
Clarko, you got my great mate Brian Lake over at the end of the year, and I hear a couple of weeks ago that you might have given him a bit of a bake, and he thought it was in his top 5, and he's had rocket. So there's some pretty good bakes. So how are you enjoying coaching him?
Yeah, Big Lakey's going all right. We had a bit of a difference of opinion a couple of weeks back, but no, listen, he's travelling well. We've stripped a bit of weight off him, as you would have known. Got him down to Billy's weight, so he's looking okay, the big fella. And he's really important for us now, particularly Showmaker's going down with that knee 5 or 6 weeks ago. So he's a key player for us in the weeks ahead.
Clarko, just stick with us if you can, mate. We're going to have a look at this next game. It's the Giants up against the Geelong Footy Club. 18th on the ladder versus the second. The Giants, they're doing a little bit tough at the moment. Brogan comes in, Gillum, Ugle and Plowman, so a bit of experience into the side. Chalor's a very good player, as is young Lockie Whitfield, the NAB Rising Star. The Cats are going beautifully, Billy Boy.
Yeah.
Under lights for the first time.
Oh, the lights.
Rolled the Gold Coast eventually by 52. Had some issues along the way. Rested a couple. Harry being managed, it says in brackets. Harry Taylor, Motlop with a knee. Schroeder Burberry, Blitzad's also out. So they've taken the opportunity to give a spell to a couple of fellas, Brownie. This one's at Skoda Stadium. It's going to be a beauty.
I think it'll be a tough day for the Giants boys. The reason they've lost their competitiveness the last few weeks is because of their tackling. It's gone to I don't know. It's gone to the Scheisenhauser. And Jeremy Cameron's been the shining light. He's kicked 27 goals in a side that averages only 40 inside 50. It's an amazing effort. But interestingly, the Cats are playing 3 talls: Billy, Vardy, Pods, and the big Tomahawk. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the formula for the rest of the season.
Big Vards.
Geelong, clearly.
Yeah. Obviously, you think the Cats are going to win, but one guy I will mention is Cal Ward, who we only got 1 pick for when he went up to GWS, and he's been fantastic and a great skipper for them so far.
Right, what's the attitude, Bill? The Cats coming in here. I mean, Harry Taylor's having a spell. You're giving Stevie Motlop a spell. And big blitz.
Managed, Gaz, I think is the word. But look, a win here, a nice win, and then they have the break. And if they can turn 10-1, that's a really good start of the year. But it was about the lights last week. They were magnificent. Clarko even drove down during the week. I saw him, and he went down to have a look at the lights, didn't you, Alistair?
Oh, yeah, my folks are down there, Billy, so the old man's not too pleased. I said to you that, shining the lights in his window.
And he couldn't cook his toast and googie egg because there was no power and anyone else in Geelong. But they were fantastic. Everyone in Geelong loved them. Were very, very proud of the lights. Except for the bristle, Brian Taylor, who had a crack at the Cats about... The lights went out, and the first time, Geelong have ever seen electricity. So he had a go at the Cats.
You had a go back at him?
I had a Billy's bake on the rush hour, 3 to 5, Triple M. And the locals weren't happy with him.
Yeah.
And then Brian fired back.
He got angry, Brian.
And Brian got angry.
How angry was he?
He wasn't happy, Gary. Look at him. He was filthy. Brian Cook, you can get stuffed. Look at him.
But the clock didn't work either, Bill, did it? The
clock worked. It just went up instead of going down.
Oh, well, so it didn't work.
No. Gary, explain what happened to the clock.
It didn't work.
And so that's fair enough. And he
no,
wasn't happy
instead
about
of counting down...
Oh, this is not the massive issue, though, really isn't. It was a lovely night. Everyone got
let me
on.
explain, Gary. Instead of saying 2 minutes 52 to go,
Yes.
it said it's at the 27
It counted
minute mark.
up.
It counted up.
Exactly.
Which
No
is
big
fine.
deal.
No big deal. Exactly.
When
well,
you're
that's ridiculous,
sitting
Bill.
at home as the audience, you want to know when the siren's
Not
coming.
necessarily. What would you rather know? Just go with me here, right, Stu?
With you.
No,
Yeah.
you want to know how much time is left,
No.
not how much time they've played.
What would you, Alistair, as a super coach?
Of course, what he'd like to know when
Shut
the
up!
game's...
I asked Alistair.
No, I'm going with Sammy, mate.
You'd like to know when the game's close to being over.
Hey, we need to thank Al Clarkson. It's always great when we get AFL coaches in. 9-1, you're flying,
Yes,
Clarko.
well
Great
done.
to see you. Good luck with the rest of the year.
Keep the applause going. We're going for a break. Damien Barrett with all the footy news next on the Footy Show.
Still to come on the Footy Show, Debonair D. Chris Dawes wanders by after a tumultuous week at Melbourne. We bring down the hammer on the Moaning Gary auction. We've got a ripping edition of Footy Legends, and Sam dishes up a street talk with the lot. It's edgy as seat stuff when Sam heads to Dandenong.
Are you a member? No, sir. I'm not a member of anything, am I?
That's all still to come on the Footy Show.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. Before we go... Yes, John.
The 20 minutes to go with the weeping wimp
Moaning
or the
Gary.
moaning Gary or whatever you call it. $7,100 genuine. We've checked with the person who put the bid in.
Brilliant.
20 minutes we've got.
20 minutes to go. Look good
Painting
in
and audio.
any boardroom. But more importantly, the Breast Cancer Network of Australia.
Genuine
will be
bids only, Gary. We don't
beneficial.
want any rubbish.
Exactly. Bit of news kicking around, and the man who's on top of everything is Damien Barrett. Please welcome him, Damo.
Thank you, guys. We've got a lot to get through in short time tonight, and we'll start tonight with a story about Joe Watson and Jack Watts. We've all become well aware of the extraordinary leadership and character of the Essendon captain, Jobe Watson. We can add another chapter to that particular story tonight. He recently met with the struggling Melbourne player, Jack Watts. The two talked at length about dealing with expectation, perception and dealing with disappointment. And that gathering was the brainchild of Essendon CEO, former Essendon CEO Peter Jackson, who's now filling that same role at Melbourne. He just felt that there were similarities in what Jack Watts is currently going through with what Joe Watson did go through and emerged from back in 2007 in the latter stages of Kevin Sheedy's coaching at Essendon.
Extraordinary thing to do, Damo. It doesn't happen too often that clubs captain would go and help someone else out. But as you say, Joe Watson went through some issues, got dropped famously when Kevin Sheedy was coaching, came back and won a Brownlow. So that's a great thing.
And if he's not the best guy going around the AFL, Gaz, he's in the grand final. But we'll stay with Essendon for the moment. Stuart Cremery, out of contract at the end of the year and is attracting a lot of interest from a lot of clubs. The club which is going absolutely hardest at him is the Western Bulldogs. They've made it known to him, or certainly will be making it known to him, that should he want to leave the Bombers, and that must be said, it must be unlikely that he will, but should he want to leave, there's going to be an offer of $450,000 a year over 4 years for him to join the Bulldogs, should he choose to do that. And I might just ask Daniel G in Syracusa about that, because the Bulldogs last year had a good crack at Scott Gumbleton, another Essendon forward who decided to stay, but clearly you've identified a gun forward as something you need.
Yeah, well, I haven't, but probably the footy club list manager, Jace McCartney, I'm sure he'd be going through all the uncontracted players in the competition, and if they fit into the category that he likes, then I'm sure that we'll look at them as a footy club.
$1,800,000 over 4 years.
$1,800,000.
Yeah, 1.8.
Yep.
That's about the going rate for a big power forward, Purple.
That's what it's on offer for him if he wants to take it. We just heard Alistair Clarkson reference the Jeff Kennett linking with Melbourne Footy Club. That bit is serious. We need to make that pretty clear. This is not Jeff blowing smoke. The AFL was aware of the approach made to Jeff before he made it public today. So take it as real. Whether it happens or not is another matter, but take it as real. There's another Jeff in the Melbourne presidency mix. His name's Jeff Freeman. He's a recently retired big-end insurance businessman. He's joined the board. He's in the process now of working out whether he wants to do as some people are asking him to do, and that is put his own hat in the ring for the presidency of the footy club. He's soon going to be meeting with AFL pal brokers at AFL House to talk about the Demons' plight. John Worsfold, West Coast coach. His situation, guys, is getting more intriguing by the day. The Eagles are certainly waiting for him to give any form of indication. He's given them nothing to this point, and there's going to be no one at the Eagles now who's going to be surprised should he choose to walk away from the club at the end of the year. They hope that's not the case, but that's what they're starting to feel. And if he was to leave the Eagles, he would almost certainly rule out totally any offers from other clubs that could come his way to coach. North Melbourne, big function last night at Parliament House in Spring Street. The big amount of $800,000 was raised by a high-end coterie group. It was significant money. It's going to go straight to the footy department of the footy club. It's going to run alongside the debt demolition projects that are also running at the club. And JB, I believe about half of that amount, about $400,000, was donated by two people who have chosen or asked to be kept anonymous.
Who are they?
You, Jim?
The infamous White Knights that never existed, Purple. It was a terrific night, and Lee Matthews must be thanked too for giving his time so generously, and the words he said were fantastic. So it was a great night full of great North Melbourne people.
800.
Two more before I go, Sam. James Frawley, a lot of interest in him. We've known that for some time. The club that's really showing the most interest is St Kilda to get him there. They, like other clubs, know he's contracted, but they're not going to be dying wondering in trying to convince him to leave the Demons and join the Saints at the end of the year. And just before I go, a lot of angst and bemusement about Brian Taylor's commentary last week at the inaugural match under lights, Billy, at the Geelong Stadium there. We know that there were some certain Geelong fans who complained. We know the club itself complained. We can tell you, and this is serious, that the AFL also felt the need to address the matter with Channel 7 management over the type of commentary delivered.
Come on.
No. Just telling you what it is, Sam.
I know, you're a great newsman. You're telling us that is absolute. What is going on in this country?
Well, Bill, let's throw this at you.
Yes.
Everyone knows that Brian Taylor has had a standing joke on this front for a long time. It's nothing more than that. He's a ripping set-up bristle.
Exactly.
And if you can't have a giggle, we're getting a bit precious.
Oh, we are getting very precious of late, but it was tongue-in-cheek. No doubt about that, mate. So, Bristle, keep calling as you do. You're a fantastic caller.
And the hysteria subsided about Essendon, Starsky, has it?
Nothing substantial to update there, Sam. Coaches were interviewed this week, some re-interviewed. Mark Bomber Thompson about to be seriously interviewed.
Ooh, yeah.
The players, as we've been saying for some time now, are looming as likely to escape serious sanction.
Of course they will.
Very nicely done, Damien Barrett.
Best
newsman in the business. Go with it.
Well done, Damo. And, of course, the other big news, Gary, during the week was that Channel 9 have got the cricket for another 5 years. What about that? That's right, Channel 9 have got the cricket for another 5 years. $500 million, Gaz.
Ooh.
And the Nine Network put this statement out.
And I was impressed with that.
Very impressed they were indeed.
That is the longest bow you've ever drawn.
And now with that news, and the Aussies see him get bowled out the other night for 65. Well played, Hughesy and Warner.
Well, we should have had Jim celebrating with Mrs B. As we saw last week about the cricket rights.
We did see that, but we've come up with this jump-in poll, Sammy.
Yes.
Which cricket legend should make a comeback? OK, so you can jump in with A, the man who likes to bowl bouncers at Ricky Ponting. Have a look at this. Oh, that is A. Number B, the man who tries to bowl bouncers, Big Gary Lyon. Have a look at this. And that is 6. Jump in now for C, Gary, the man who played against Don Bradman. Or you can jump in with D, Dirk Wellham. Plays for New South Wales. Poor old Barb standing there. Now, Barb's a great Carlton supporter. And, mate, the poor old Scoop.
That's not funny. That's not funny. We love Barb.
No, Barb's one of the great Carlton supporters and Victorian cricket's followers ever.
All right. Well, we'll watch that with great interest, Bill. But we'll keep moving because the games keep coming. Of course, Adelaide, Sydney. This is a big game. Amy Stadium. And the Adelaide Crows in need of a victory. Have a look at a couple of the players there that have come into their side. Crouch, Henderson and McKernan. Mad Mates Rory Sloane is an absolute jet and we appreciate him enormously. And the Porpoise still trying to get over that coccyx injury as we move to the Sydney Swans, who are flying, Gary. They are doing nothing wrong. And Big Mumbles is just leading the way. The huge man, 120 kegs plus. This game at Amy Stadium, you got to win your home games, Gia, if you're an interstate club. And this is a big one for the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, you do. I think the Crows have been going okay without getting over the line. Obviously, they've had to restructure their forward line with Big Tex out, and they've put Dangerfield down there, who's playing his 100th game this weekend. But I just don't think they've got enough to get over what I think is probably the best team in the competition, the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, the Crows need a scalp. They haven't been able to beat any of the top sides this year. Unfortunately, Paddy Dangerfield is their best forward and their best midfielder, and he'll have to play midfield this week against the competition's best midfield in the Swans. And they've got a good record down at Amy Stadium in the Swans. I believe they'll win again this week.
They were very honest last week, Adelaide. You know, Sydney got 2 Jacks in the side, guys.
They have.
Now, good luck to Brandon Jack in his first game. Very important that. Is he related to...
Brother.
You sure? No. Or are you making that up?
Yeah, I think he is. He is your brother.
Hey, brother. Well, his brother, Sam, we got 2 Jacks. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Vorsel?
Sydney. Like the Zarsoff brothers.
Oh, no, Bill. No.
Bernie.
No.
Bluey.
Shut up. Who are you tipping?
Rudy. Tory.
Burnties. The Swans, Gary.
Gia's laughing.
When would Tex, the Ranger, when would he be coming?
Well, the boys spoke to him
Sean
during the week, so how far away would Tex?
He can't travel. He's just had his knee reconstructed, so he's got another month till he can get on a plane, and then he's coming here. He did suggest to us during the week, Bill, that it was only going to be a number 2 or 3, and we said Texan, she's all off, bald.
Yeah, that was the
That's the deal.
That was the charter.
4 or 5 weeks of Big Tex. What are you pointing at?
Well, I thought he looked like... I looked at this bloke in the crowd. I don't know if we get a camera around there, Gaz, but...
Lord, look at this bloke.
Look
One
at
of the most
this.
ferocious mullets you'll ever see.
Is that real?
I don't know, but
Stand up, Knackers. That is a shocking
Give
mullet.
us a look at it.
Look at that.
Look at him.
Contemplating that, Tex Walker to join us in 4 or 5 weeks of break. Street talk from Dandenong. Sam reckons he saw the most scary man he's ever met in his life. And also Chris Dawes to join us. That's next.
You shouldn't be around by now, should you? You should be all over for you.
Should be.
You've lived too long, haven't you?
I
Do you
have.
get sick of living?
North won last week after a man on Street Talk provided them with this game plan.
From here, you play to the run into the left-hand side.
We're in the old home of the Dandenong Demons, hoping we can do the same for Melbourne.
How are you, Mr. Sam Newman?
You're on TV? You go on TV?
Oh, we've nothing to do. We're just practising at the minute. This is Melbourne. This is...
Melbourne, you got a Bulldog membership. I know that.
You got any idea why Melbourne aren't going so well?
They're terrible.
You're frightened.
Get this on your camera.
Ever watched the Demons play?
Yeah, they play very good.
They're playing shit, sir, at the minute. They can't win.
Bad luck.
If my mum knew I was talking to you, she would kill me.
Yeah, same with my uncle.
Gary Lyon, I love Gary Lyon.
Hey, how's your coffers looking? The sovereign dollar.
Gary's there.
Oh,
Say hello to him.
Gary's there?
No, he's not. He's there. He's in there.
Is he there? Good on you, Gary. They give you shit, but you're all right.
Where is he? Oh, you're married. Where's he gone?
He's over the fish shop.
Fish shop?
Yes, buying some fish.
Yeah, well, I suppose he would be there doing that. Now, you don't know Tex Walker from Adelaide, do you? No. You're not Ricky Martin, are you?
No.
His name's Rex Hunt. 30 years of Galar. Well, he's just silly enough. Well, he could go far.
I've done 2,500 games of umpiring.
Goal umpiring?
Yeah, 2,500.
Yeah.
And timekeeping, I've done 4,000.
4,000 games?
Yeah, 4,772 games.
He's made a big success of his life. As far as I know, he don't got no strife. Oh, yeah.
You've been buying fish?
Yeah, kilo leverjack.
Kilo what?
Weather jacket.
Weather jackets?
From over there, yeah.
Did you ever mess any up? Did you ever not be able to tell if it went over the post? Or...
No, one I did.
One?
Yeah.
Out of 5,000?
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
How'd you like me to be out on the footy field, eh?
I would.
Wouldn't I kick a few goals, sir?
Sir, if I was handling it, you would be there.
Don't stand there.
Do
something.
All stand there.
Just sit there.
Just
set the bombs.
Try and stop the other mob kicking through.
They can't get any, so they might as well stop the opposition.
That's the full back line. Right, mark your man. I can see what you're on about. Right, this is the crowd watching. This is going beautifully. This is the crowd. Watch it, right? A lot of crowd, big crowd in today. What happens if they kick it over their head? It's like you form a pyramid. Well, have you follow the demons, you two? Are you with each other?
Yeah, this is
Are you?
my husband.
Your husband?
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, with a broom and a shovel.
Oh, yibbity, and all that. It's sad on a Saturday in his football hat. He's going to the ground to broadcast the game. And if you miss his broadcast, you are insane. Oh, yeah.
Where do you want me to stick this? Hang on, turn around. Hang on.
No. What's it?
I'm an animal person.
Animal.
Fred's got 4 dogs.
Yeah, I got 4 dogs. They're beautiful.
Animal, yeah.
Yeah, they're better than people.
Animal, yeah.
They're better than people, aren't they, Teddy?
Gonna change your brains or you're gonna die in flames. Because I got the game and you are my game.
It wouldn't be...
No more time for you, sir. Yeah?
You wouldn't be available for a pre-match chat to the Melbourne footy side before they take on the Pies, would you? Well done, Rex will love
That's only
that.
half of it.
Oh, no. Don't just watch. Do
Do it. I've got to do it.
All the best, sir. Jesus.
Yes, thanks to the good people of Down and On. We thoroughly appreciate their assistance with a ripping edition of Street Talk. Now, the Moaning Gary, so much talked about this beautiful artwork. $7,500. It has closed now. It goes to a man called Shane. Well done. And $7,500, Gary, goes to Breast Cancer Network Australia and will be a beautiful
Where will
adornment.
it be hung, Jim? Where will they be able to view it?
Boardroom, I would have thought, would be the spot.
Well,
so when you come in for a meeting...
Shane wants a free advertising. He should tell us where his
Yes.
business is and people can go in and look at it.
Absolutely. The Moaning Gary, no worry about that. Now, what we need to do is welcome this man. Premiership, big power forward for the Collingwood Football Club. Now wearing, of course, the famous red and blue of the Melbourne Football Club. Make him welcome on the Footy Show, Chris Dawes.
How you going, mate? Good. James.
Hey, Big Dawsy, good to see you.
Hey, mate.
And nice form too, which would be a good thing for yourself. I mean, we understand where the club's at the moment, but with your own game, really nice to see you back in some nick.
You know, about time I started clunking a few. 3 weeks back into the seniors, I was sort of finding my touch, and hard to be too happy with your own game, though, when you get belted to the tune of 90-odd points.
It's a big change for you, mate, in the environment. You've come from a successful footy club on field and off. I've heard you speak over the past couple of months, and you put out a really positive picture of where you think the Melbourne Footy Club are going. Tell us tonight, because there are sceptics out there who can't see that at all. With reason, it has to be said.
Look, I think that's the thing, is people who aren't involved in the club day to day, obviously they're going to find it hard to have that faith that we are on the right track. There's enough people who have, you know, enough experienced footy people, quality footy people involved in the club, as you would know, that have put in place sort of a foundation, if you like, that we're going to get some success. There's going to be short-term pain, and that's, you know, and I came to the D's knowing that that would be the case. I think, you know, some of our efforts over the first 10 rounds this year are worse than what we would have expected. But, you know, even if you look at the Hawthorn game in isolation, take the scoreboard out of it, we were pretty competitive. And that'll sound funny.
But the immediate reaction is that. And you have a man over here, Daniel Ginn, Syracuse, with a side who was also struggling but have been competitive always. Managed to eke out 2 victories in the past 2 weeks. That's the fundamental difference at the moment.
Yeah, look, and you're spot on. And, you know, we haven't made excuses. Well, tried not to make excuses for that, and certainly don't accept losing in the fashion that we have been. What we are saying, though, is, you know, you have a look at our list. We've got a few key outs, and for a side that doesn't bat that deep, we can't afford them as much, and can't cover for them as much as what other clubs can. But, you know, I've still got a lot of faith. How many wins that ends up being this year, you know, it's hard to say, and you'd be a fool to try and put a number on it. What we've seen over the last couple of weeks, if we've started to be more competitive for longer in games, and, you know, now if we can just be given a chance to get our list together, our young list together, playing a number of games together with the same coach, you know, then I think we'll start to see the rewards.
Dorsey, I'd ask you your reaction to this, and yours, in fact, Gary, because one of your modern stars of your footy club, David Schwartz, in this newspaper here, Geelong Addy, I want my team to get belted. Now, that's jumped straight out of the page at every footy fan, because that is a staggering thing to hear from a former star of the club. How do you feel when you watch that?
Well, you know, I've been around footy long enough to know that he doesn't write the headlines, so, you know, that's not necessarily what he's saying. But, you know, I'd put Schwarter in that category, and, you know, he's a legend of the club, and as a media man, he's entitled to his opinion. That's his job to have one. He's not involved in the club, you know, day to day. He doesn't have contact with the players. I'm not sure even what contact he's got, you know, with anyone in the footy department or at board level. So for him to be saying those sorts of things, it's, you know, I put him in the category of the frustrated supporter who says, OK, look, over the last, you know, 5 years we've been pretty poor. When Mark Neeld came in with Neil Craig, and, you know, they made some significant list changes. I think we turned over 14 players last year. That was them basically saying, OK, we're going to have to strip it right back, start again, so we can get this right and build a team that's going to have a bit of long-term success. You know, I put Schwarter in that category of someone who doesn't actually know what it's like on the inside, and, you know, all he can see is the scoreboard on the weekend, and certainly that's been disheartening this year.
You'd be pretty hosed off with the bloke doing the headlines if you didn't say that and that's what it said. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
Oh, look, I was disappointed, but Schwarter loves Melbourne. His heart is in the right place. But I thought it was a bit sad, to be honest, in the clubs at its lowest ebb, and you don't want a former great, and he is a former great of your footy club, publicly coming out and saying he hopes his side loses. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. He's not a fan of Mark Neild's, and that's fine. But I don't like it. I didn't like seeing a former great come out and say that he hopes to see his side lose.
Dorsey, the boys mentioned that today. They're saying, you know, we want to stick it up Schwarter, or, you know, obviously it's been talked about amongst the playing group, that article.
To be honest, it hasn't. We've, you know, not being in at the club today, we were out on primary school visits. But that sort of thing, you know, the boys will talk about that, and, you know, I'm pretty confident to say they'll all be saying similar things to what I've just said, which is, you know, that sort of external noise is disappointing and it's not helpful at all. And, you know, they'll take it with a grain of salt because he's not involved day to day.
With your own part of the reason for the move, because it's hard to leave a club that's very successful, a top 4 regular. What are the reasons behind it mainly, mate?
Behind the move?
Beyond the move, yeah.
Yeah, it was sort of, I suppose it was a difficult one. A year before, when I was actually out of contract, various clubs were circling, and I said, well, I'm not going to leave because I'm enjoying my footy here, I've got good mates, all of that. And then sort of a year later, it was the club coming to me saying, well, you're not going to have many opportunities. You may want to look elsewhere. And so then I weighed it all up, and perhaps because I achieved a bit as a player in terms of playing in a flag, that made it easier to actually leave. There wasn't that same sense of unfinished business that I otherwise might have had. Then it was a matter of picking a suitable club, and Melbourne ticked a lot of boxes. I was excited by the list, by its long-term prospects, and, you know, I was certainly aware there was going to be short-term pain. Probably not. I was expecting more competitive efforts this year, and, you know, part of that was I wasn't even able to be out there on the field helping, which made it frustrating. But I sort of haven't wavered in my faith that we're on the right track.
Plus the coin was all right, Browning. Now, Melbourne, 1 win, 9 losses, lost by 95 points last week. Dorsey was very good, 12 marks, kicked the goal. Let's have a look. Couple of changes here. Sylvia, Sella, Blees, Maxie Gorn and Tommy McDonald come in. James Frawley out with a hammy. That will hurt. And Straussy has been omitted. Take on the mighty Magpies, who won by 49 points last week at the Gabba. Travis Cloak comes in. Sinclair, Payne and Oxley. Adam Oxley, good luck. And Adam Cracker has been dropped. That's an interesting one. So good luck there. You'd think Collingwood will win this one, and that's going to be Zaki. The Magpies to win. Gia?
Yeah, I think, as Dawsey said, I think the main thing that the Melbourne players are probably thinking is obviously that effort. They'll be looking at tackle numbers and they'd be looking how well they'll defend on the weekend. I think you just do little small things along the way and hope that they come off, and rather than worry about the score, that's what you've got to do. One thing, Dawsey, I'd just like to ask, our clubs, different in similar situations in terms of win-loss, has Mark Neal really lent on the more experienced players at Melbourne to help coach the younger players through what is a really tough time at the club at the moment?
Not necessarily. I think, you know, any footy club you have that is the more experienced guys are going to try and lead the club, especially when it's not going so well. It hasn't been something that Neildy's directly spoken about, but, you know, our leaders are pretty young themselves, but they're still the more experienced ones who are trying to steer the ship in the right direction.
Brownie?
Yeah, cloaking for Collingwood, Frawley out for the Melbourne's pretty bad for the D's, I reckon.
Force?
Yeah, I've never met Mark Neal, but I tell you what, there's a few coaches that have escaped the scrutiny of the media vultures, and I just feel for him a bit. I mean, it must be extraordinary to work under those conditions.
He's had a very, very tough 18 months for circumstances right from the word go that were...
and the last time I saw young Chris here, as we stood side by side at the Albert Park driving range, mate, just honing up the skills down there.
No, after an 80-year-old was hitting it longer and straighter than me, I gave up. I decided it was time better spent elsewhere.
80-year-old.
Hey, what I do need to say, and I'm sure, Chris, you'll back us up, the Melbourne Footy Club's biggest home and away game is on Monday, and the Collingwood Footy Club are good enough to let Melbourne be the home side here. It is a massive game and so important for the bottom line of this footy club. I know it's bloody tough at the moment to get along, but the toughest time you find out the best people, and the best people in Melbourne Footy Club are the supporters have been sticking thick over a long period of time. Easiest thing in the world is to just pack up and don't go on Monday. I implore you to get along, support your footy club. It is a very, very tough time. Queen's Birthday Clash, huge game. It's a blockbuster. Make it worthwhile. Dawsey, just give the supporters something. Effort is what they need to see Monday.
And that's what they'll get, Gaz. You know, it's our grand final. Realistically, we're not going to be playing finals this year, so this game's going to be the biggest one on the calendar.
Get along and support the Demons. Tough times. Find out what you're made of. I reckon the last thing you want is a footy club to implode right now. So that's the last thing we need.
We want Big Dawsey to take some big clunks.
Big clunks.
Big bangers.
Dawsey.
Inside forward 50, Big Dawsey.
Thanks for coming in, Dawsey. We appreciate it enormously. Good luck on the weekend. We'll take a break. Plenty more footy show to come after this. From the Richmond Centrals and the Nunawading Footy Club. Thanks to James Bogues, our team of the week here in the audience. Very much appreciating their support, donating $1,000 each to the panellists. Local football club, Gia, that would be?
Williamstown Juniors Footy Club.
And Brown Dog, have we already given $1,000 to your footy club?
Yeah, South Warrnambool.
You're not getting another $1,000.
No, the Roosters.
Hey, we're running a bit short on time. This is the address for Footy Legends. Send your DVD or VHS, GPO Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria 3001, or go to thefootyshow.com.au. The best prizes in footy, they are.
Thanks to James Bogue's draft, our weekly winner takes home $1,000 cash, while our runners-up receive $500 each. Sponsoring over 150 local clubs, James Bogue's draft is a proud supporter of grassroots footy. At the end of the year, our runner-up pockets $20,000 cash thanks to Deep Heat, providing fast, temporary relief from muscle aches and strains.
Deep Heat
is the stuff of legends. Thanks to our great friends at Home Timber and Hardware, our major prize winner takes home a mega toolbox full of $40,000 cash. That's going to come in handy for that renovation you always wanted. So if you want to do it right, go where the tradies go, Home Timber and Hardware.
We're almost guys, footy legends, the best pricing footy. Get your entries in. Last game of this round is St Kilda taking on the West Coast Eagles. Just going on the Sainers. Sam Fisher out with a foot injury. They get back Bo Meister and Clint Jones, Trent Ennis-Lane Saunders and Donnell. Jack Stevens been very good in what's been a tough season. 2 wins, 8 losses for the Saints. The Eagles not going much better. 10 got smashed by the Tigers. And look at the outs. Darren Glass is out. Mark Lacroix is out. Young man by the name of Blaine Wilson comes in for his first game, if he's fortunate enough to make the final team. Gone for the Saints, obviously. I don't think they had a chance to make the finals, but precariously placed the Eagles. 5 wins, 5 losses, and they got slaughtered by a very good Richmond last week, so who aren't playing this week. Brown Dog.
Yep. Nick Riewoldt, 150 games as captain. What a great captain he's been. He's had a great year too. I reckon the Saints can get up for him.
You reckon they can win?
Yeah,
Gia.
No, this is a massive game for the Eagles. If they want to go deep into September, they have to win. Big outs will make it closer, but they'll definitely get up the Eagles. Certainty.
You've got to go with the West Coast Eagles. The Saints need something. They need a bit of hope or a bit of spark. Come on, Saints, do it for Nick Riewoldt.
All right, Brown. Fulton.
A couple of coaches escaped the media scrutiny. Mark Neal must feel hardly done by.
Oh, no, he wouldn't worry. He'd be worried about this week. I tell you, if you missed it, Damien Barrett telling us that John Worsfold's future next year, if you saw his press conference after the game or through the week, he looks like he's a man that's not coaching anywhere next year to me, John Worsfold. He's been there for 13 years. I think he might just have a spell.
He also looked like he's become a vegan or something. He has lost about 20 kilos, John Worsfold.
Get Bill under that.
Gone.
He has. I mean,
he's gone.
He just
He's
looked
a pharmacist.
Well, he looked a lot thinner.
I'm tipping the West Coast.
I am tipping the West Coast Eagles as well, Jimmy.
Yeah.
All right, we need to get to a break here.
No, we've got the jump-in poll results.
Go on then.
Well, before we go to a break, Jim, jump-in poll results. Let's have a look here. Who should come out of retirement? Jonathan Brown, 30%. Gary Lyon, 30%. Sam Newman, 22%. And Dirk Wellman, 18%. But we're declaring Gary Lyon the winner! So we can see this vision again. Big Gazza, the big oak bowler for Golden Valley Schoolboys.
I tell you, that was wet down that end of the...
At Kyabram, the home ground.
Gary,
Are you reading that out?
you can't bowl a ball that bounces twice. That's
I had a bad
unacceptable. You had a bad back.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, no, would have been. All right, we need to get to a break.
Broke
We're going
his
to come
leg.
back after this and wrap up on the Footy Show.
Footy Show running a little bit late. 3 big guests, Al Clarkson, Andrew Bogut and Chris Dawes. Worth it, though. What do you got there for us?
Now, listen up, kids. Johnny Famisham's statue fundraising dinner. Now, listen to this. Wednesday, the 19th of June at the Frankston RSL. The dinner is to raise money for the erection of a bronze statue in Frankston to recognise Johnny Famisham, the champ's legendary achievements. Johnny and Barry boy Michael will be there. Ring the Frankston RSL to make a booking. Now do it because he's a star, Johnny Famisham.
Yes.
They want to put a statue up for him.
Hold on.
Baggy Blue goes up. Baggy Blue to Daniel G in Syracuse. His 6th show. He's probably the best looking panellist we've ever had.
Thank you, Bill.
Put that on, Sam. Put that on. Well done.
You put that on, Gia. Shane Bennett, thank you very much. Bought the Moaning Gary for $7,500. Oz Equipment Rentals is Shane's company, so he's going to hang it in his boardroom. And also, Gary, very nicely done by Soho Workshop. Your 3-piecer is dragging a lot of compliments.
A lot of comment, indeed. Yes. And I forgot to do this for Geelong and GWS, so that's a forgot. Hey, we thank you for your company. Good luck to your footy team on the weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 8:30.